Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Akhil, and today I have the pleasure of announcing the first award category for the Dasra Girl Power Award, which is Employability for Adolescent Girls. Today, economic pressures are forcing more and more adolescents every day to join the workforce. In urban India, almost 30% of adolescent girls are working. But unfortunately, for many of the reasons already spoken about today, most of this employment remains confined to the informal sector. Most adolescent girls find jobs as domestic workers or laborers, which in addition to paying low wages, exposes them to exploitation, violence, and abuse. We have already said that by 2025, India will be at the peak of its demographic dividend, where a young labor force can act as a lever to sustained economic growth. But as it's evident to everyone that this dividend can also become a demographic disaster if we do not provide the right skills and capabilities to this population. It's also abundantly evident that India's 113 million adolescent girls will be a crucial and key part of this population if we are ever to leverage this dividend. If you are able to close the job gap between girls and boys today, we can add 4.4% to India's GDP every single year. In addition to economic gain, better employment for adolescent girls leads to the prevention of child marriages, early pregnancy, and over time chips away at the patriarchal gender norms that hold girls back today. Thus, it's with great pleasure that I introduce to you 4 absolutely fantastic organizations that are working to provide adolescent girls with the skills and support needed to become self-sufficient and earn a living. Our first finalist for this category is the Association for Non-Traditional Employment of Women, or NU, represented by Vinodini. Vinodini, could you please stand up? As I call your names, could you please stand up so everyone knows where you are? Our second organization is the Medha Learning Foundation, represented by Chris. There he is. The third organization is the Natural Resource Management and Commonwealth, represented by Ashok. Our last organization is the Salt Lake City Priasam. Unfortunately, no one could be here from Priasam, but the information is available in the report. If you'd allow me, I would like to speak a little bit about each of these organizations. The Association for Non-Traditional Employment of Women, or NU, uses vocational training and counseling to impart young women and girls with the skills and confidence required to access improved livelihood opportunities. It mobilizes girls and young women in municipal corporation schools, colleges, and slums in Chennai, builds their awareness on career opportunities, and helps them plan their careers. It also imparts training across a range of non-traditional careers for women. The Medha Learning Foundation works within the educational system to improve employment outcomes by providing career counseling, skills training, and on-the-job exposure to students in government and government-aided colleges and polytechnic institutions. It works predominantly with adolescent girls and young women in eastern Uttar Pradesh. Through its programs, Medha provides the knowledge, guidance, and exposure required to bridge the gap from education to employability. National Resource Management and Commonwealth, or NRMCW, provides vocational training to out-of-school adolescent girls under the government's Sabla scheme. The Sabla scheme focuses on empowering adolescent girls through a comprehensive program which includes life skills and vocational training. NRMC implements this program in 3 districts in Madhya Pradesh. The organization also provides support to adolescent girls in finding employment opportunities by helping them set up enterprises that they can run from home. Priasam's On Track program provides employability and life skills trainings to youth from impoverished communities in West Bengal. On Track is implemented in 10 communities and over 260 schools and madrasas across West Bengal. Priasam trains youth to apply the skills they learn by providing them leadership positions within their own communities and making them agents of change. Unfortunately, we had to pick one winner amongst these 4 organizations, and could I please ask Ram from DSP BlackRock to come up and to give away the certificate to the winner. DSP BlackRock is a long-term supporter of adolescent girls, as I'm sure many of you know, and is also the lead sponsor for the Girl Power Awards this year. The winner of this year's Girl Power Awards for Employability is the Meda Learning Foundation. Chris, could you please come up on stage? Thank you, Ram. Chris, if you could say a few words.
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. I first want to thank Dasra and all of the sponsors of this program for this award and recognition. It means a lot to us to be recognized for our work. As much as we try to be humble in what we do, it's nice sometimes to be recognized and rewarded for it, and so I really appreciate it, and it means a lot to all of us. On behalf of the whole Meda team, who is in Lucknow and works in Eastern Uttar Pradesh, on behalf of my co-founder Byomkesh, who couldn't be here, and my colleague Sarita, who is here today, who's standing there in the back, I accept this award on behalf of Meda and everyone in the Meda family. So when Byomkesh and I started Meda, the initial intention was actually not to work with young women and adolescent girls specifically. It was really to focus on the unemployability issue facing the country and to try to bring an intervention to the existing education system. We've talked a lot today about how the need to work within that system and to improve that system and to potentially reform that system. And for Byomkesh and I, when we were looking at the whole kind of employability landscape, we saw that a lot of people were leaving the gates of their colleges or secondary school, enrolling in short-term training programs and institutions, spending a lot of money on that, and ending up with the same employment outcomes or the same jobs. And we felt that this didn't make a lot of sense, and if we want to achieve the kind of goals that the country needs to achieve in terms of skilling and employability, we have to work within the existing education system. And so we built an employability education program that Akhil mentioned, of some of the details of, and we brought it back to the existing education system in Uttar Pradesh. And we brought it initially back to government and government-aided general stream degree colleges, students that were enrolled in BA, BCom, BSc programs, because we saw that there was a huge need there. And while, they're definitely in a higher education program, the employment outcomes were no better than an 8th or a 10th pass student. And so we started going back to these colleges and going to the principal secretaries and said, let us run this program that we've built essentially as an after-school program. Give us a couple hours every day, give us a classroom, and we'll do this training, and we'll try to bridge, this gap that exists. And what we started realizing was that a large percentage of these colleges and the students that were enrolled in these colleges were young women and adolescent girls. And we started thinking to ourselves, why is this the case? This wasn't really what we initially thought would happen. And we realized that in these general streams, it was largely young women that, for lack of a better term, were kind of left to go to these programs, especially the government and government-aided colleges in which we were working. The families would typically invest in the young boy to maybe go to a professional degree program or a private institution that had a better quality and a better employment outcome. And the whole reason that, these young women were enrolled in these degree programs was largely to make them more marketable in the marriage market, not necessarily to help them get a job, not necessarily to help them along on their career. And so that was the first, kind of realization that, perhaps we were entering a different realm of employability and different kind of issues associated with employability beyond just kind of training and placement that, a lot of institutions are involved with. And so we started working on these campuses in, kind of late 2011. And then we started realizing, I guess, kind of other things about the role that we were playing and the role that we were playing with these young students. And because we were not their friend, we were not their parent, we were not their teacher, we had a bit of a unique opportunity to build kind of trust and relationship with these young women, where they would start to kind of really open up to us about a number of issues that they were facing when it came to things that were going to happen, after graduation or after, they finished school. And to be quite honest with you, we were not really prepared for this. I think what we thought was that our value was going to be around, improving employment outcomes and getting them jobs, and not necessarily mentorship and counseling around a number of issues that our young students were facing when it came to joining the workforce, or the pressures that they felt, in terms of family to be able to, enter that workforce. And so over the course of time, we realized that as much value as we were providing in the skills training and the job outcomes, we were providing maybe more value in being a trusted mentor and an advisor to them during this, kind of challenging aspect of their lives. And so as Madhu mentioned, it's not necessarily all about just getting a job, but a lot of times it's about, some of maybe those other things that you end up doing with students and relationships that you're building that have the biggest impact over the long run. So as a result, our program has really evolved over the last 4 years to be from just a short-term, kind of after-school program to more of a full career service center on campuses. And so we are now working in 10 colleges across Lucknow, and we have an agreement with the Department of Higher Education and Technical Education to work with an additional 15 institutions across 7 districts in eastern Uttar Pradesh, setting up these career service counseling centers, and working with students on all of this skill building and a lot of the other aspects that we end up engaging with these students on. So again, I'll conclude with that. I know that I probably went over time, but I really, again, appreciate the recognition for our work, and am looking to interact with, everyone that is here, because certainly I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't say we need, financial and other support to achieve the kind of growth targets that we have. And again, our vision is always to kind of go back to the government and say, how do we further mainstream and integrate this into the existing education system? So again, thank you very much, and look forward to speaking with all of you.